Super Brands is the world's most significant marketing award given to companies in 86 countries for building outstanding brand equity. A two-stage selection process involves scoring by thousands of consumers and an independent council of eminent personalities from various sectors. Over 135 companies in India use the Super Brand seal to display their superior status. Super Brands now join hands with ET Now to bring you behind-the-scenes stories of some of India's most powerful brands.
They have transformed numerous lives and India's image in the global arena. They have constantly innovated and set new benchmarks of business excellence. They have witnessed trial by fire and shown tremendous conviction. They are India's super brands. Hello and welcome to the Super Brands show only on ET Now. Through this series, we'll be traveling across India to discover and explore some of the most exciting yet arduous journeys that India's most respected brands have undertaken to reach to the top. On the show this week, a brand from the 1950s that revolutionized the Indian kitchen with a never-seen-before product and some very radical promotional strategies. And another brand from South India that created a need for its product category 50 years ago and has since constantly offered solutions for sound sleep. Our first story on this series is of a super brand that's most likely to be present in your kitchen. With a simple product, this company revolutionized the Indian kitchen and greatly reduced cooking time and effort. A pioneer in its product category, TTK Prestige has many firsts to its credit. Adding 10 million consumers every year, Prestige is today India's largest kitchen appliances brand. Let's find out what made the company a market leader. There are some things you'll always find in an Indian kitchen. And to earn your place here is never easy. Not only does it take an inherent knowledge of the food and the different styles of cooking, but to successfully launch a product in this space also requires a deep understanding of the surrounding culture. And this is a story about a super brand that did just that. Over the past 5 decades, the influence of TTK Prestige on the Indian kitchen has been phenomenal. And it all started with one product that would change the face of Indian cooking forever: the pressure cooker. In the 18th century, Denis Papin, a French physicist, embarked on the mission of making the pressure cooker. But it wasn't until the First World War that his invention was mass-produced in order to feed the troops on the ground. Prestige from United Kingdom saw the potential of the device in the home kitchen and introduced the pressure cooker in the European market. But it wouldn't be until 1949 that the product would make its way to its biggest market yet.
In India, all our food is boiled. We don't bake, we don't grill, we boil all our foods. This is ideal for boiled foods. My father saw that. My father was a visionary. He had great foresight. So he saw that it will suit Indian cooking perfectly. And so he brought it to India in 1949.
There was only one thing standing in the way of this product finding a permanent place in the Indian kitchen: the Indian housewife. So the company decided to send out a team of door-to-door salesmen to educate customers on how this product could help them save time and energy in the kitchen.
It is a very, very tall climb to try and convince the customers that this is actually going to be a much healthier, much faster way of cooking, and therefore nutrition, health, safety, etc. are delivered by this product.
There was a period of initial rejection, but for the ones that did give it a try, the benefits were undeniable, and the pressure cooker was finally starting to gather steam.
Once one household picked up and understood what it was, a word of mouth spread much easily.
Consumers felt that TTK cared enough about them to actually come and explain not only about the product, but about the correct way of using it.
The company wanted to leverage the growing interest and really capture the market. And to do that, it wasn't afraid of trying something completely radical. towns and villages across India started to see a different kind of rain. This was Prestige spreading word by dropping pamphlets out of planes, and it wasn't something the casual passerby below could ignore. Prestige was finally starting to see the kind of demand it had been seeking from the Indian consumer. The next logical step was to move manufacturing to India. But there was one last consumer concern that needed to be addressed.
The pressure cooker that we licensed from Prestige UK was innately a very safe pressure cooker because it had all the safety devices built in. Worldwide it was sold, no problems. Except that in India, the safety plug, which was the guarantee of the safety, in India everything is spurious. Very quickly you started getting spurious safety plug, did not work.
It had taken a lot of convincing to get Indian homes to finally adopt the pressure cooker. But it wouldn't take long for the entire market to fall apart if consumers were in two minds about the safety of the product. This led Prestige to set up a product development division, and the company dedicated itself to put a lid on all safety concerns for good.
आइए जनाब आइए कहिए क्या चाहिए
जी वो हाँ एक प्रेशर कुकर चाहिए
प्रेशर कुकर क्यों नहीं
We had come up with the gasket release system, and we had a pressure cooker that was completely safe. So the idea was, how do we then communicate that in a manner in which it would emotionally connect with the customer?
लेकिन प्रेस्टीज ही क्यों
क्योंकि सिर्फ इसी में है अनोखा गैस्केट रिलीज सिस्टम जिससे जरा भी खतरा नहीं
Prestige hit the nail on the head by launching its most successful promotional campaign ever.
तो प्रेस्टीज ही दीजिए
जो बीवी से सचमुच करते प्यार वो प्रेस्टीज से कैसे करें
There was no better way to do it other than love, because that probably was one singular emotion that we wanted to bring about, and that was articulated as Jo Biwi Se Kare Pyar. And because you love your wife, you would get her the safest pressure cooker. So the whole thing around building that trust and safety was the core of advertising and communication for the brand.
The brand had successfully utilized the power of television to position itself as an archetype of safety and trust, and it had a product to back up its claims. The tables turned. Instead of Prestige trying to push the pressure cooker, the company was now gearing up for an astronomical demand from the Indian market.
We used to sell only one model pressure cooker, 5-liter pressure cooker. But we found that people, especially in the south, we were using separators to cook traditionally, so that they wanted to cook 3 or 4 things at the same time, which 5-liter was too small. So then we launched a 10-liter, a 12-liter, various sizes of pressure cookers came.
The company was about to mold the pressure cooker into something completely new and use it in a way it had never been used before.
What we do in Indian food normally, we tadka, we fry onions, then we put either vegetables or meat, and then we boil, we pressure cook. So we said, what if we come up with a pot that does all this? So that's how the pressure pan was born.
This super brand established a successful product lineup and was riding on a wave of success. When it came to brands in the kitchen, no one could really challenge the Prestige name. Over the years, markets outside India continued to evolve, while the Indian kitchen largely remained unchanged. The company wanted to innovate and bring about that change to India, and so it set out to develop the smart pressure cooker. It was convinced that consumers would be delighted to finally see something new on the store shelves. But when the product was finally launched, the market responded differently.
Smart is actually a great learning for the company, in the sense that first time we realized that we could actually change the format of safety and convenience and give more features to the pressure cooker.
Worldwide pressure cooker concepts were growing, and India was not affected by that at all. So we came up with a smart pressure cooker, which is a really wonderful pressure cooker. We even now export millions of it. But what happened was that it was way ahead of its time in India. The consumer simply did not accept it.
With a major product launch falling short of expectations and the rising taxes on pressure cookers, the company was going through its hardest time yet. It was time to go back to the drawing board and adopt a different strategy.
So we lost market shares a lot, and we went into big loss. At that point in time, we sat back and said, what do we do for the future of the company?
Through its time in the market, Prestige had come to learn and understand the Indian consumer like no other brand. And it was time to put those lessons into play and expand to the entire kitchen.
If we decide to bet our company on only one category, pressure cookers, there can be an issue, there can be a problem, there can be a failure, you are impacted much more. So the answer is to expand dramatically. Dramatically in what? Dramatically in distribution, dramatically in product range, dramatically in the way we connect with the customers.
The company decided to start its own chain of exclusive retail outlets.
When we went back to these Bartan shops, they would not sell our appliances because they had no experience. And when we went to the appliance stores, they said, Prestige appliances? No, we don't want to sell your appliances. So we were stuck between two stools.
Now consumers could come and see the entire Prestige range up on display, a far cry from what the earlier dealerships had to offer.
Brands build a trust and an equity with consumers which is relevant for that product category. Because they are stuck to the kitchen, I believe it has been successful.
Next on the list was the task of capturing markets of North India.
We concentrated in the south. Indian pressure cookers concentrated in the north. So what happened was, and since the method of closing these things are very different, a customer who's used to an outer lid finds using an inner lid very difficult.
Prestige knew it had to set itself apart from competition, and to do that, it took inspiration from the traditional Indian handi. This new manifestation of the pressure cooker was better at retaining the aroma and flavors while cooking. And that promise seemed just enough for its newfound customers in the north. Meanwhile, there was another problem that was plaguing kitchens across the country.
There was huge shortage of gas. So the customer that was using gas, when he didn't have gas, didn't have another option. So we launched our induction cooktops at the right time, saying if you don't have gas, don't worry, you have induction.
The market started seeing induction cooktops.
Interesting, na? Kaisi lagi?
But it wasn't until Prestige started backing the product that people really started to embrace the idea.
हाँ पता है वो प्रेस्टीज से कैसे करे इनकार.
Cooking was suddenly becoming fashionable. It was nice to be in the kitchen. So the context of Jo Biwi Se Kare Pyar was now changed to not because you love her and you want to give her a safe product, but because you love her, you are with her in her kitchen.
Prestige as a brand has always been a pioneer. Whether you choose to turn through the pages of its humble beginnings or look at it as a market leader today, the company has always demonstrated an undaunted faith in following through with a good idea. The pressure cooker may have continued to remain an obscure meat cooking vessel in the Western market, but Prestige single-handedly went about convincing an entire nation of its potential and managed to make it the star of the Indian kitchen. Now, with its latest microwave pressure cooker, just like India, a new country is beginning to embrace the product. To establish a formidable relationship of trust with its consumers, Prestige has travelled on a road met with constant learning and unbridled persistence. It has managed to stay on course, moving past the setbacks to find a permanent place with the Indian consumer. And with international markets on the horizon, this might only be the beginning of its journey. Well, that was TTK Prestige, a brand that single-handedly popularized the pressure cooker in Indian homes. Let's take a short break right now. Coming up on the other side, India's foremost mattress manufacturer that has been offering its consumers sound sleep since 1962. You are watching the Super Brands show only on ET Now. Welcome back to the Super Brands show only on ET Now. Through this series, we are exploring some of the lesser-known facets of India's most popular brands. Our next story today is of a company that was far ahead of its time in creating a need for its niche products right from the 1960s. It was a pioneer of the rubberized coir industry in India and generated huge employment opportunities. From the outskirts of Bengaluru, Kurlon has today established a strong presence in many countries around the world. Let's find out how. Brands try to sell to us every day a new product, a better idea, an easier way of doing things. When we can identify how something new can fit into our lives, it's easy for us to reach into our wallets and make a purchase. But sometimes when an idea is mostly unfamiliar, that need has to be created. In the 1960s, a Bangalore company was about to sell one such idea, the mattress. Fast forward to today, and there is no contesting that it did a good job. Kurlon is the market leader of a category that it created for itself. But how did the idea of introducing the mattress in India ever come about? The answer might lie in a place you'd least expect. Germany of 1960. A hotbed for global consumerism. A delegation from India makes its way through the country to gather new business ideas.
Mr. Ramesh Pai, chairman of our company at that time, when he started the company, also was a part of the trade delegation. So he went with this delegation to Europe to see different industries and different opportunities for Indian industries, for Indian businessmen.
Ramesh Pai found his way to a Mercedes car show. Here he would come to learn that the manufacturer was importing coconut coir to cushion the seats, a material that was available freely and in abundance back home.
So the coconut fiber came from Sri Lanka, Indonesia and from India to Germany, and they were using all these to make the rubberized coir pads. So my father thought this is a very good idea and a great idea, that he could come back to India and look at wherever the coir husk was being burnt, we can make it into value-added products.
Starting up the coir business back home came with its own set of challenges. The concept was new and the government didn't exactly understand which industry to put it under. There could be no Kurlon if Ramesh Pai couldn't get his hands on a license.
Later on, my father had to go to coir board and fight with the coir board and tell them we are not going to make any unemployment in Kerala. We are going to create more employment in Karnataka.
The first Kurlon manufacturing plant was set up in 1962. Now, coconut fiber was being used in everything from carpet underlays to seats of ambassador cars, Ashok Leyland trucks, and even railway coaches. The company had also made its first coir mattress, but consumers hadn't really warmed up to that idea.
Only when, after almost about 10-12 years later, when my father came out with an idea of quilting the coir mattress, the quilting made all the difference.
The company was finally seeing its mattress sales go up. Kurlon started experimenting with different levels of thickness and began expanding its product range. But it was the 5-inch model that the Indian market really came to favor.
It was very well accepted. Very well accepted. Even today, even after launching for more than 15-16 years, that's a well accepted product is a variety called Classic.
A country that only a few years earlier was hesitant at the idea of paying for a mattress was now showing an unquenchable demand for this product. The brand had made a name in markets that it wasn't even operating in, and shipping products by road was adding to costs. The time had come for the company to look beyond its home and take Kurlon to the entire nation.
If you want to supply from Bangalore to places like Calcutta or even up to the far-off place like Guwahati and all, it will take 15 days, 20 days, 21 days. Then we thought it's not correct. We have to set up our own factory in somewhere close to east.
Kurlon was getting bigger, and now the second generation was about to take on the ambitious task of making the super brand go national. His first move would be to standardize the prices.
The customer was not given the product at the same price by different dealers. The dealers used to give 5% discount, 10% discount, and some dealers used to give 20% discount.
The discounts were proving to be harmful for both the dealers and the brand. People were starting to wonder if the discounted mattresses being sold to them were in fact original Kurlon products. Something had to be done.
The customer should ultimately get the same price in all the shops. So we started putting this philosophy with marketing operating price as well as on MRP. And we're very happy that we have got a very good score on this.
So far, Kurlon had been closely associated with sleep.
Kurlon, world-class sleep systems.
But the company was slowly waking up to a new opportunity. If it could make the bed more comfortable, it could certainly bring about a similar transformation to furniture. For this new venture, it turned to another material, foam. Instead of targeting consumers directly, Kurlon sold the idea to carpenters by demonstrating to them the benefits of this material. And it wasn't long before the market caught on and Kurlon had moved beyond the bedroom.
We asked one of the marketing consultants to go and tell us what are the new areas this brand can be extended up to.
The answer to that question came from a research study. Kurlon discovered that people were already associating its brand with home comfort. There was a huge potential for the company to expand if it could somehow capitalize on this new consumer perception.
I believe it goes to the challenge of being able to convince consumers that the kind of value you provide, the kind of care you have for consumer needs, will be there for the other product categories also.
Something incredible was set in motion. Kurlon's role in the bedroom itself had grown dramatically, but it had a lot of ground to cover in the rest of the home. The super brand set up the biggest sofa manufacturing plant in all of Asia. But the final act of this grand vision was yet to reveal itself.
We saw a great opportunity as the Indian consumers' requirement kept on increasing. We should become an international company. So I found out one young couple who had started their own factory in Italy. Some of the factories in that time shifted over to Turkey, whereas this couple decided to come to India. And we partnered with them and we put up the first Cesare collection of sofas in Dabaspet in Bangalore, which is supposed to be one of the most modern factory for manufacture of sofa.
Meanwhile, the mattress market in India was evolving. The Western world had started its long-standing affair with the spring decades ago, but that demand was only recently starting to emerge in India. Kurlon had been trying to push the spring mattress in the country for many years, but it was only now that a more global and well-traveled consumer started understanding an international product.
I knew the world was changing, and when the world changes, we have to change along with the world. If you go to Europe and if you go to America, 85% of the mattresses are made of spring. The reason is they are much lighter, they can give you similar kind of a support what the coir gives, and it can also stand much longer.
Next, Kurlon was set to launch another product that would revolutionize the mattress category.
Memory foam was invented by NASA for people who are going above the atmosphere, where they become completely weightless. This memory foam, we have been able to use it as a top layer for the mattress, which gives zero pressure point for the body.
It already knew that memory foam could offer unparalleled support and comfort, but the company wanted to take the material to the hospital bed and test it out on orthopedic patients.
So we started talking to the ortho doctors, and they said, can you give us something called very, very firm and a nice mattress? So we came out with an ortho mattress, and the ortho mattress made a big success for our company.
In a country that never had any standard bed sizes, Kurlon customized its mattresses to fit each individual customer's requirements, something that no one had ever attempted before. It didn't just lift developments from the West and bring them to India. Instead, it tried to understand the unique dynamics of the Indian market and made products to cater to it. It is this long-standing tradition that has helped this 1,000 crore rupee brand to spread through its consumers' minds and in their homes. Well, Kurlon was the first Indian company to create a category for branded mattresses. And needless to say, it has remained ahead of competition by many leaps thanks to its innovative offerings. With that, we come to the end of this episode, but do join us again next week because we'll be back with 2 more super brands and their exciting stories of ambition, perseverance, and business excellence. Till then, goodbye.